Good morning, everyone. We have standing room only, apparently, although we have empty seats. So,
Up front.
It's like church.
the Delaware County Commission meeting for April 9th, 2018 is now in session. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Again, good morning. To my right is fellow Commissioner Vice President Barb Lewis, and to my left is Commissioner Jeff Benton, fellow Commissioner. Clerk today is Jennifer Walraven, and our Administrator Mike Fromer. With that, let's begin.
Resolution number 18-372 in the matter of approving the electronic record of proceedings from regular meeting held April 5th, 2018.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion. Vote.
Vote on motion 18-372. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Have any public comment or elected official comment today? So that brings us to item number 4, resolution number 18-373 in the matter of approving purchase orders that announce certificates and payments of warrants in batch number CM APR 0406.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion. Vote.
Vote on motion 18-373. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 18-374 in the matter of approving travel expense requests.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion. Vote.
Vote on motion 18-374. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Resolution number 18-375 in the matter of approving a resolution from the Delaware County Board of Commissioners declaring April 8th through 14th, 2018 as National Public Safety Telecommunicator Week in the County of Delaware, Ohio.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion. Oh, wait, is Patrick going to speak?
Good morning, Commissioners. What we have for you this year is National Telecommunicators Week. What makes it interesting this year is this is going to be the 50th anniversary of since the first 911 call was placed. That was placed down in Halliwell, Alabama. So that's very interesting. Next year will be the 30th year of our 911 center, so that'll be coming for you for next year. Like it said in cases past, no matter how often it's said, the dispatchers and the telecommunicators are the hidden gems behind the operation. If it wasn't for them, the calls wouldn't get answered and the people wouldn't get dispatched. They're always there 24 hours a day, 365. They don't get vacation, holidays, or such off if they're scheduled. So they're there to help out, and they're there to answer the calls for our residents and our guests and the people on the other side of the radio, the public safety. We do have a lot of administrative staff as well down there keeping the equipment up and running, which is always helpful. This year we have, obviously, several of our members. We have Brian Rand, who's our telecommunicator of the year for the 911 Center, and Jenna's the one for the Sheriff's Office. So we congratulate them on being represented by their peers for their outstanding performance and work they've done the last year. One of the things and just to sum up and get out for you guys is, one of the things I found out on Facebook yesterday is you see all these people posting about Telecommunicator Week. And Mark McCann out of Washington Township Fire put out, he goes, it'd be like having the space shuttle program and no Houston control. Without Houston control, what's the space shuttle going to do? They can't communicate. Without us, what's everybody else going to do? You can't communicate and get a hold of people. So that's all we have for you. We appreciate your guys' support to the center. I'll turn it over to Chief Deputy if he wants to make any comments or anything.
No, I'm great. As always, Patrick covers everything real nice for us. So I'd like to echo what Patrick says and all the data and information he had.
Thank you very much.
With that, let's go ahead and vote, and then I'll read the resolution.
Vote on motion 18-375. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
I'll read the resolution, and there may be some comments from my fellow commissioners. So, whereas the Congress of the United States and the President of the United States have since 1992 established the second week of April as National Public Safety Telecommunicator Week. And whereas this is the 50th year since the first 911 call was made by Senator Rankin Fight on February 16th, 1968 in Haleyville, Alabama. And whereas emergencies can occur at any time, and whereas public safety telecommunicators daily serve the citizens of Delaware County by providing that first and most critical contact between our citizens and their need for a public safety response. And whereas public safety telecommunicators are the single vital communications link for monitoring, dispatching, providing information, and ensuring the safety of law enforcement, fire, emergency medical, and emergency management responders. And whereas this board believes that the public safety telecommunicators that serve the citizens of Delaware County are a highly trained and dedicated corps of personnel, and whereas the services of public safety telecommunicators is a silent service that is seldom observed by the public that deserves recognition. Now therefore, be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners, Delaware County, State of Ohio enthusiastically supports recognition of all our professional public safety telecommunicators, declaring the second full week of April as the National Public Safety Telecommunicator Week in Delaware County, and all our residents are invited to observe this event. Signed by Commissioner Jeff Benton, Commissioner Barb Lewis, Commissioner Gary Merrill. With that, I'll open up if fellow commissioners have anything they want to say, and then we'll get a photo.
I'd just like to thank you for, boy, talk about 24/7, for all your work, for being there for all of us. I've used it a few times, and boy, I mean, it's just our residents, I'm sure, are very, very grateful. It's something that we know is there, but until we need it, we don't think about it necessarily. And then I think of all the teamwork that it requires, just as Commissioner Merrill mentioned, the interplay with EMS, with all of our safety forces. Thank you so much.
I guess I would like to say the same thing, basically, and thank you all for all the work you do 365 days a year, Christmases, New Year's, Thanksgivings, you know, the days you spend away from your family. It's very much appreciated and vital, and we really do thank you for all that. And I also want to thank you for being the leaders in the field. I know you're working on you know, new advancements in technology and in communication and using texting now, you know, instead of just phone landlines. So there's a lot of ways that you're leading the way to provide even better service, you know, to our residents. So again, thank you all for all you do, and hopefully you'll enjoy a little special lunches this week, and we're glad that we're able to help you with that. So again, thank you.
Tuesday's our day, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
I'd just like to add, I'm privileged to serve on the 911 board, and there's a great group of people with great leadership, and we're fortunate enough to have what I believe is, I'm going to say, the best in the state of Ohio. Patrick, well, you probably would agree with that, wouldn't you? So with that, let's get a photo, and perhaps the two of you like to join us?
Trustee Miley, did you want to brief anybody?
Did you want to?
Yeah, I just want to make
I
sure.
apologize. You want to-
Yeah,
No, thank you.
as our board president, I didn't know if you wanted to.
Well, I feel bad that I didn't ask. Why don't you join us for the photo?
I know, next.
Yes. Thank you, commissioners.
Thanks, Patrick.
Thank you.
Let them get out the door.
Okay. Resolution number 18-376, in the matter of approving a resolution expressing appreciation to all community members working on the front lines in the fight against Ohio's opiate epidemic.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion? Does anyone want to speak in behalf?
You know?
Okay.
This is not the first time I've cleared out a whole room, so
Well, you didn't get everybody, there's still some.
following that. So, and I won't take up a lot of your time either. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Deanna Brandt. I'm the Executive Director of the Mental Health and Recovery Services Board for both Delaware and Morrow counties. And with a little bit of description of where our Week of Appreciation came from, in House Bill 49 in the Ohio Legislature that passed last July, county boards were named what was called the Opiate Hub, to organize and strengthen the work that's in Delaware County in particular already being done to fight the opiate epidemic. And rather than describe that line and verse, I brought you each a one-pager. Is anybody going to tackle me? From the Ohio Association of County Behavioral Health Authorities and the Ohio Department of Mental Health that describes what the opiate hub language means. And I'll give you the short version, I promise. There are 4 elements to it: to strengthen county and community efforts to prevent and treat opiate addiction, to educate youth and adults about the dangers of opioids. The third one might be a little new for some people: to promote family building, which I was grateful that they acknowledged, and workforce development as part of this combating this crisis. And then the last is just to encourage community engagement around those first 3 elements. As part of a statewide coordinated effort to roll out the opiate hub work that the boards are going to be doing, we also have a Week of Appreciation, which is this week. Has a theme. It's called Bringing Help, Bringing Hope, Thank You. And part of our board association's focus was really on exposing all people on the front lines of fighting opiate addiction to survivor stories, which we don't often get to see, right? We hear a lot about death data. We watch the news and see, at least have some perception of the number of people who die from opiate addiction. But part of this effort is going to be in the next 2 weeks. We're going to be on site with EMS, who just left, law enforcement, fire departments, treatment providers, crisis clinicians, the ER, Job and Family Services, their child protective staff. They need a thank you. I can speak with some authority about that, being on a number of committees with JFS here. So this opiate hub work is going to last for at least 2 years. So this week is just the rollout of the work that we're going to do. And you're having lunch with whoever just left the room. We're not doing lunch. As a former 20-year crisis worker, what you need in that field is coffee, really good coffee, and junk food. So donuts are on their way. But the third thing is a flash drive that was not paid for locally. Woo, always good. Each person who comes to get coffee and donuts, as we go out and deliver, will get a flash drive that has 3 things on it. And I think the first is the most important. It's just a number of survivors who've been revived with Narcan telling their story and just saying, I'm here because of you, which I think is really important. The second piece was some educational information about how to stay well in times of crisis, where your work has changed significantly to the negative at times, and then some fentanyl safety when you're exposed to it. Those were the 3 things that will be included. In May, I'm going to do a little plug for this. We're going to have a screening, we believe at this point, is this wood, at the Strand Theater, for a documentary called Written Off, which is a mother's story of her son who died of an overdose, and she discovered his journals after the fact. It's I believe, award-winning, so I hope that when we send out information about this screening that lots of people will join us. That's my greatest fear. We're going to have this huge public event, and the theater will be empty, so I hope people will join us in taking a look at that. So what we're asking of you is, Governor John Kasich, Attorney General Mike DeWine, our board, the Board Association, all passed resolutions in support of this Week of Appreciation, so we're hoping that you'll join us in doing that as well.
Okay. Let's go ahead and vote, and then we'll read the resolution and do comments just like we did on the last one.
Vote on motion 18-376, Mr. Benton.
Aye.
Mr. Merrill.
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis.
Aye.
With that,
I will read the resolution. Whereas the Delaware County Board of Commissioners is committed to expressing our gratitude and appreciation to all community members working on the front lines in the fight against Ohio's opioid epidemic, And whereas the Delaware County Board of Commissioners will nurture and reinforce county and community efforts to prevent and treat addiction, including opioids, educate youth and adults about addiction and recovery, promote family building and workforce development as ways of combating the effects of addiction on communities, and encourage community engagement in efforts to address this present opioid epidemic. And whereas Delaware County is working to build a comprehensive system of prevention, education, intervention, interdiction, treatment, and recovery for all citizens of the Delaware County community. And whereas through this work, we will continue to bring hope to our community and build the understanding that treatment works and people recover. Now, therefore, we, the Delaware County Board of Commissioners, do hereby pledge our support for the individuals, family members, and professionals throughout our community who are bringing help and bringing hope by working day in and day out to save lives, provide treatment, assist families, and support recovery in Delaware County. Signed by Commissioners Benton, Lewis, and Merrill.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Sure. This is a great boost to see. It's a great boost to our stepping up efforts, which our county prosecutor has led, and we as commissioners have been very active in. The best thing about this, too, because this is really something that affects so many of us, and there are so many people who can help in the community, and the circle that you have here is a circle, too, that so often we use in stepping up, but I noticed there are a few additions onto this, and that's just great. And we have a very active group. Deanna, you've been great in working with us on stepping up, too. I just wondered if our county prosecutor would like to just say a couple words. You're involved on a day-to-day basis. You see, unfortunately, the results so many of us don't see firsthand.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. It's very, very important that we reach out and tackle the opioid issues that we are facing on a multitude of levels. And I loved hearing, Deanna, the education, the treatment, and then also making sure that our first responders are protected from that very real fear of the fentanyl and the carfentanil that's out there. We had a Columbus police officer taken to the hospital this weekend because he came into contact with the drug. But without a multitude of local resources, we're not going to tackle this program. So it's very heartening to see that we're working towards that reality here in Delaware County. We started it a number of years ago when Steve was at the helm, and it's nice to see Deanna following it up. And so I'm hopeful, cautious, but hopeful that Delaware County is going to address this and do it very well. So thank you. Thank you for your work.
Thank you.
Commissioner Benton?
Yeah, again, I would like to also thank everyone for, and there's so many people involved in this, thank everyone for their work on it. It's a multi-pronged effort, obviously, and everybody's focused on it, which is great. We did just get the coroner's annual report last week, I think it was, and it showed an alarming increase in 2017 in the number of opioid and related deaths. I think we went from 5, 6, 7 for several years to 19 last year. Most of those were fentanyl related. So, it is happening. I mean, everyone's aware of it, but it is really happening, and it's very scary to lose that many people, in 1 year in our county. So again, I appreciate the effort and the focus and the attention on it. And we got a lot of people doing a lot of good things. So hopefully we'll improve that over the coming years.
Yeah, I'd just like to add that we're really, really fortunate to live in a county which really works very, very hard to, and not as parochially, we work together to make these things work and not protect our own self-interest. This is a problem that's going to have to be solved nationally. It's not going to, despite all of our good efforts, ultimately, we all have a role to play in this in every county and every state in this country for it to get resolved. We're all going to have to find ways to work together, but I do applaud the efforts that we're doing in our county to try to make a difference. And as we move forward, hopefully to a more of a national resolution of the issue. I believe we should get a photo. Do you want to-
Okay. Very good. Thank you, Tim. Everybody over. 3, 2, 1. We'll do another in 3, 2, 1. Thank you.
At this time, we're going to address an item that we have from Prosecutor O'Brien's office. Resolution number 18-377, in the matter of the Board of County Commissioners declaring the week of April 8th National Crime Victims' Rights Week in Delaware County.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 18-377. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
And we'll follow the same, we'll read the resolution, and we'll have comments from the commissioners. And Commissioner Benton?
Okay, it's my privilege to read this resolution from the Officer of the Commissioners Proclamation. Whereas Delaware County continues its efforts to prevent and respond to crime at every level, and will never neglect to show fairness, dignity, and respect to survivors of crime, and will honor them during National Crime Victims' Rights Week 2018. Whereas Delaware County will observe National Crime Victims' Rights Week from April 8th through April 14th by placing signs for each township on the lawn of the Delaware County Commissioner's Office. This display will serve as a powerful reminder that victims are not alone and healing is possible. Victims will also be honored through the 10th annual Walk a Mile in Her Shoes event scheduled for May 4th. The Walk a Mile event raises awareness about sexualized violence towards women. Now, therefore, be it resolved, it is with great respect that the Delaware County Commissioners express their admiration for those survivors of crime who have turned personal tragedies into triumph. As a community, we understand that crime has an impact, and we vow to demonstrate compassion and offer support for those who need it most. To those who serve, our volunteers, law enforcement officers, prosecutors, victim services providers, healthcare professionals, parole and probation officers, counselors, and a host of many others whose dedication and service to victims helps to lessen the trauma and assist in personal recoveries, we offer our deepest gratitude. Further, be it resolved by the Board of Commissioners of Delaware County that the week of April 8th through 14th, 2018 is declared National Crime Victims' Rights Week in Delaware County, and all citizens of Delaware County are encouraged to use this week to reaffirm their commitment to victims of crime by extending to them respect, understanding, and compassion. Signed, Commissioners Jeff Benton, Barb Lewis, and Gary Merrill.
And we probably should have invited Carol up earlier, and I apologize for that, the prosecutor.
And thank you for the proclamation. When I first came to the Delaware County Prosecutor's Office, we put a flag for each victim in the front of the Commissioner's Building. And then we went to one flag for 10 people. And we'd be out there for hours putting flags up. And now we decided, okay, we're just going to put one sign for each township because it became impossible to keep up. The theme of this year's program is Expand the Circle, Reach All Victims. I want to give a shout out to the people who work in my office, Trish Wright, Megan Powell, and I am Penny Bennett, because they reach out to every victim who has contact with our office. They respond on weekends, they respond on holidays, they respond at nights, because they have a passion to make sure that victims come out the other end of this process as survivors, and they will do what they can. And when I talk victims, I'm talking about maybe someone whose house was broken into. I'm talking maybe someone whose credit card was stolen. You know, the credit card, we think, oh, that's not a big deal, but it can be. And so they take the time and they make the effort. And then they deal with the tough cases, you know, the kids. And I have a reputation of spending a lot of hours working with my victims in my cases, and they're with me all the way. And I'm talking Saturdays and Sundays and nights and early mornings, whatever fits for the victim schedule. So I just wanted to give a shout out to them because they do the job that is really hard. And I think what you have seen this morning with our dispatchers, telecommunications, dispatchers, with our Delaware Morrow County Board of Recovery Services, we have such a great county that makes people the priority, and I think we'll continue to see that. Now, of course, since it is April, and it is National Victim Awareness Month, and we do have this function on the first Friday in May, which happens to be the 10th anniversary of Walk a Mile. We do have, not gifts, loaners, for the male commissioners. Barb, I think you have high heels. Jennifer, I think you have, yeah. And I know Dawn does. So here we have shoes. Do you have a color choice?
That was. Oh, there we go.
Those lime green things. You know, I think I get these every year. I literally think I get the same. Is this planned or coincidental?
Those are really pretty, you guys. You look great in them.
How do you walk in these things?
If you see what I have on today,
Now you know why.
yeah. Actually, of a story involving, I had all three of my boys in town walk a mile, and they decided they would walk, well, they were voluntold they were walking a mile. And, you know, you have my big burly Air Force guy and then my other two guys, and they decided to run the mile in the heels with one of the attorneys in her office. And after they finished, they said, Mom, but you don't really walk a mile in high heels. And I go, have you ever seen my Fitbit? Of course, we walk miles and miles and miles. The funny part is there, but the very serious part is walking the walk and talking the talk. And this year, what we're asking people to do is after you walk that mile in her shoes, please keep talking about the problem that faces, and it's not just women. This is just a way to bring it out that people will come out and talk about it. Keep talking about the issue of sexualized violence against women and how women are not objects and they deserve the respect of every person. I would also encourage you to go to the National WalkAMileLearnersShoes.org website and see a number of our Delaware County citizens who are featured prominently on there, including my husband who has the teal match of those cute little wedges. And one year they were painting the guy's toenails, so he has pink toenails, and he goes, you know that stuff doesn't come off. But thank you. Thank you for once again making sure that the victims are honored and given recognition. And I think we also are honoring our folks who work with our victims who help them become survivors. So thank you, and look forward to seeing you May 2nd, May 4th, May 4th.
Right.
Commissioner Benton, you ready? You have any additional?
And thank you for, I mean, it's a lighthearted way of bringing attention to a very serious topic, and I want to thank you all for doing it. 10th year. I didn't realize it had been that many years. Congratulations for all that, and it's great to again, bring attention to this topic, and thank you for all the work you do on behalf of the victims, because they're oftentimes in the background. They're oftentimes forgotten, and they don't get the headlines, and they oftentimes don't get the support they need. So thank you all very much.
Commissioner Lewis?
I'd like to thank those on the front lines, I mean, for dealing with the victims of crime in and out every day, and weekends, nights. Boy, thank you so much for your dedication, and I look forward to being there on May 4th, and it's a great event. It really is it's a fun event in that you really do get to see some interesting sights, like some big fire and EMS guys walking along in their heels, and I mean, I'll never forget that. And so it really is a great way to call attention, as Commissioner said, to a very serious issue, but in a lighthearted way. And it drives home the point. So thank you so much.
And the only thing I'd like to add is, I guess this is my 6th one. And again, the word lighthearted is used, but obviously, sometimes you have to find humor in things that aren't very humorous, just to keep going and to keep your sanity. And this event is something that will be extremely well intended. It always is. And it's something that really brings out a lot of the people in our county who really, one, are aware of the problem, and or two, want to make a difference. And I invite everyone in the community to come out on May 4th. We get it right.
Friday.
And here in downtown Delaware. And whatever the issue may be is regarding victim rights, whether it's credit cards or something much, much more serious, that victim, it's important to that victim at that point in time, and to provide support as this county does in so many areas, it does make a difference. So thank you to everyone that's involved here and outside this room today for all that you do. And with that, let's get a photo.
Pretty special, Gary.
I don't know why.
You get the same ones?
Yeah, every year.
Supposed to hold these?
Jeff, could you get over here?
Yeah, I think it's another.
Can I have you stand over here?
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
My turn, thank you. Over here in 3, 2, 1. In 3, 2, 1. And just one more. 3, 2, 1. Thank you.
I assume you want these back. Yeah.
I'll miss them too much.
Yeah, they don't trust us anymore.
Resolution number 18-378, in the matter of authorizing the use of Delaware County Commissioner funds to assist in funding the purchase of coffee, meals, refreshments, and other amenities for an agricultural economic development meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion?
Bob Lamb, Economic Development Director. Before you is a request to approve funds to provide food for a development meeting that is upcoming to address some agricultural development concerns within the community. I'd be happy to answer any questions regarding this matter.
My comments to Bob, we met with the ag community a few weeks ago, and he was very quick to set this meeting up in response to a question they asked, so I appreciate it very much.
Happy to.
When is the meeting?
April 16th, I believe 3:30. 2:30, I believe.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Discussion? Vote?
Vote on motion 18-378. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Resolution number 18-379, in the matter of authorizing the use of Delaware County Commissioner funds in funding and assessment, and presentation by Polycom Corporation.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, discussion.
Bob Lamb, Economic Development Director for the county. Before you is a request to provide $2,500 as a joint project with Columbus 2020 to update information regarding our demographics and industrial sectors. The information is from approximately 5-6 years ago that was used for a Bill Lafayette study that was done in 2014. This update will provide us with current data regarding those matters as well as a chance to engage the individual doing the work. That engagement session is set for April 18th at 3 o'clock.
Questions or comments? Vote.
Vote on motion 18-379, Mr. Benton.
Aye.
Mr. Merrill.
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis.
Aye.
Thank you.
Resolution number 18-380, in the matter of approving a services agreement between Delaware County Board of Commissioners and Integrated Protection Services Incorporated for fire alarm inspection and testing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, discussion.
Good morning, John Melvin, Director of Facilities. This service agreement does our annual life safety inspections for all our fire alarm systems, backflow preventers, sprinkler systems, fire shutters, fire pumps. So it is only a one-year agreement.
Have we used this firm before?
Yeah, we started using this firm last year. We switched contractors at a lower rate. There was an increase this year, and there's two increases this year. There's an increase on the rate for the previous year, and we also brought in the new courthouse onto this contract as well. Again, I want to point out, it is only a one-year contract, so we will reevaluate it at the end of this contract.
Vote on motion 18-380, Mr. Merrill. Mrs. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Benton.
Aye.
Resolution number 18-381, in the matter of approving change order number 14 to the construction manager contract between Delaware County Board of Commissioners and Land Lease Construction Incorporated for Stanzeski Street Courthouse and related parking facility.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, discussion.
This is the final change order, final contract pricing for the new courthouse. Been working with the contractor to get them complete all the punch list items, still working on some warranty items, and closing all the paperwork documents. Been over this list here several times with the contractors, recommending approval.
Questions or comments? Vote.
Vote on motion 18-381, Mrs. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Benton.
Aye.
Mr. Merrill.
Aye.
Resolution number 18-382, in the matter of approving a services agreement with Harris Industrial Services for clarifier repairs at the Tartan Fields wastewater treatment plant.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, discussion.
Morning, Commissioners. Tiffany Mag with the Regional Sewer District. This project is to repair the second clarifier out at the Tartan Fields treatment plant. We repaired the first clarifier in 2017 to restore some additional hydraulic capacity, and at that time kept this clarifier in service. Now we would like to do this same repair to the second clarifier so that we can achieve that same hydraulic capacity through that second clarifier in the event of a shutdown of the first one. So we recommend your approval.
And the first one has gone well?
It's going very well, yes. We previously, whenever there was high rainfall, would actually overtop these clarifiers and the flow would spill over the tanks. That has not happened since. We've actually seen some very good results, and we expect that we'll see the same thing through the second clarifier.
Any questions or comments? Vote.
Vote on motion 18-382, Mr. Merrill.
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Benton.
Aye.
Resolution number 18-383, in the matter of approving sanitary sewer subdividers agreements for Howard Farm Section 1, Bays A and B, and Shelley's Retreat at Carpenter's Mill, Section 1, Bays A.
So moved.
Second.
Motion, discussion, excuse me.
These are both standard subdividers agreements. Howard Farms is located south of Cheshire Road, just west of Old State, and there's 44 homes in this phase. And then Shelley's Retreat is off of Stites Road, just south of Home Road, and there's 25 homes in that phase. So we recommend your approval for both.
Questions or comments? Vote.
Vote on motion 18-383, Mr. Benton.
Aye.
Mr. Merrill.
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis.
Aye. Thank you.
Resolution number 18-384, in the matter of awarding a bid and approving a contract for the project known as 2018-2019 Roadside Mowing South rebid.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, discussion.
Good morning, Commissioners. Rob Riley, Chief Deputy Engineer. You may recall that a month or two ago, we bid this contract. Unfortunately, we did not receive any bids at that time. However, this round, we did receive 2 bids. The low bid was from Thompson Interstate Mowing, who is the same firm that you awarded a contract to for the north side mowing last week. The price for this contract is just over $56,000. That includes 4 rounds of mowing throughout the year. As I kind of alluded to last week, we feel there's good value in contracting out these services. In order to do all of this work in-house with our own employees, we feel that we would have to hire at least two more highway workers plus additional equipment. And so it's pretty easy to crunch the numbers and figure out this is a good value for the county. So we are recommending approval of this contract for Thompson Interstate Mowing.
Questions or comments?
What happens if the snow doesn't stop? Do we still have to pay?
We might have to have them put plows on their tractors. So, they're under a schedule starting actually later this month. So I've already seen some of my neighbors out mowing. So
I saw someone mowing this morning in the snow
I did too.
over by UDF.
Yeah,
I think it's supposed to be fairly warm this week, isn't it?
I think
70
so.
Friday, I
Hopefully we'll
think.
get a break.
Need it.
Any other questions or comments? Vote.
Vote on motion 18-384, Mrs. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Benton.
Aye.
Mr. Merrill. Resolution number 18-385, in the matter of approving plans, specifications, estimates, and setting the bid date for the project known as Del CR 24-0.07 South Old 3C Highway Improvements.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Lewis, seconded by Commissioner Benton. Discussion?
I have a change I need to request from you. The estimate listed in the resolution is not correct. This is actually a $5,991,000 estimated cost. I think we picked off the wrong line from the estimate. So just briefly about this project, I know you're familiar with this, having been developed over the last number of years. Includes rework of Old 3C Highway between Mount Royal Avenue and Freeman Road, over a mile of work. It will reconstruct that section into a curb and gutter street with new storm sewers, a sidewalk on one side, and really modernize that facility because it's starting to get in bad shape. And so we can either, we made a decision several years ago that we could either continue down the course of just cobbling together repairs or try to get that section up to a modern standard and then provide the additional sidewalk for the walkers in that area. So estimate is just under $6 million. The schedule would be starting work late this summer, going through until October of 2019. There is a high-pressure gas transmission line that runs basically the length of the project that will need to be relocated starting this summer, and so our work on the road will follow that. There has been some utility work out there for the last several months. There's actually 2 gas lines, both Columbia gas lines, as well as some additional utilities that will need to be relocated this spring and summer.
So I want to make sure we're all on the same page. The $664,926 is inaccurate.
That is inaccurate.
And so Commissioner Lewis, I believe this is your motion, so without objection, are you good with the change?
I will agree to the
Yes.
change.
Okay, with that, are there any discussion?
Yeah, that was one of the questions I had, because I didn't know of a $600,000 project on Old 3C, but I knew of this one, and I was wondering where, so that makes sense that the number was the wrong number.
We have an alternate bid item, which is a pavement item, provided 2 options to the contractor, and I think our staff just picked off the wrong line.
Any other comments or discussion?
Just you're widening the road, and then as far as the sidewalks, are there sidewalks, I can't remember, on both sides or one side?
There will only be a sidewalk on one side. On the east side of the road, the Genoa Trail runs up the west side, so all of those properties on the west side, they would have to go out the back of their property and get
that's
on the
right.
trail. But really, there just wasn't room for 2 sidewalks without getting into a pretty extensive right-of-way acquisition situation.
And this will make that, well, I don't know, whatever that, where Mount Royal runs into 3C, then
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. This project will only include work north of that intersection. This will not actually include any work at Mount Royal. What we decided to do about a year ago was to defer that section of the project to a later project. The reason being, we want to get the drainage in, we want to get the road fixed. To be very frank, there's not a good solution for that intersection. If you can picture that, the two intersections are so close together. Even the intersection modification we proposed, it's not perfect. There just isn't a perfect situation there. So we felt like even with the improvement there's some other projects on our 5-year plan. We wanted to advance ahead of that, and so in delaying that, we're saving about $1 million from this project. We feel like we'd rather defer that and do some of those other projects ahead of that one.
Then you can see how it works too with the expanded road. And
ODOT made some modifications to that traffic signal at State Route 3 a year or two ago when they paved Route 3. That has helped some because now there's dual left turns coming off of Mount Royal. That has helped to some degree. Again, it's not perfect, and it's very difficult to come up with a perfect situation or solution there without some pretty dramatic impacts to that pond.
thank you.
Questions or comments? Vote.
Vote on motion 18-385. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 18-386, in the matter of approving the plats of subdivision for Old Harbor Estates Section 2 and Olentangy Crossing Section 2, Lot 7528, Division Number 1, and private access easement vacation.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion?
Old Harbor Estates, Section 2 is a 24-lot subdivision, and Olentangy Crossing, Section 2, that is the lot encompassing the Kroger Marketplace on Route 23. Both of these plats have been approved by all the required county agencies, and so we are recommending your approval.
Questions or comments? Vote.
Vote on motion 18-386. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Resolution number 18-387, in the matter of approving right-of-way work permit summary sheet.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion?
We had 7 permit applications, all pretty routine work, and we're recommending approval.
Discussion? Vote.
Vote on motion 18-387. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 18-388, in the matter of approving an engineering service agreement between the Delaware County Board of Commissioners and MS Consultants and Burgess and Nyepel for safety study.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion?
We have received some funding from the Federal Highway Safety Improvement Program that flows through ODOT to perform safety studies at 2 intersections. First intersection is at US 36 and Carter's Corner Road. The other intersection is at State Route 3 and Lewis Center Road. So we have 2 consultants. One consultant we have assigned to each intersection. We have negotiated a scope and fee with each consultant. I would note the federal funding will pay for up to $10,800 for each study. We have scoped the consultants for a little bit more work than the standard safety study that is defined by ODOT contemplates. We want to do a little bit more preliminary engineering to get a better understanding of what the future improvements might look like that would address some of the traffic and safety problems at each of these intersections. So that is what reflects the difference in the 90% there. So.
Questions or comments? Vote.
Vote on motion 18-388. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 18-389, in the matter of approving contracts of sale and purchase for Jeffrey Bloom and Betty Boyd for the project known as Del CR 14-1.23, for West LLC for the project known as Del CR 124-5.99, for Tomsic 936 LLC for the project known as Del 124-6.45, and Donna Lynn Downs for the project known as Del CR 13.3.25.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion?
We have negotiated settlements for additional right-of-way on several parcels here, including 4 different projects that we're currently working on, and we're recommending approval.
Questions or comments? Vote.
Vote on motion 18-389. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Brings us to page 95. Resolution number 18-390, in the matter of accepting right-of-way from the Department of the Army Corps of Engineers for Lackey Old State.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion?
This agreement involves 2 different projects. One is a new residential subdivision being developed called The Pines, which is just south of Berlin Station Road, coming off of Lackey Old State Road. And the other is our planned improvements at the intersection of Old State and Lackey Road, Lackey Old State Road, I should say. That will include, we expect a new single-lane roundabout there, which will probably build in 2020 or 2021. So we're still in the engineering phase of that, but we're pleased that we've been able to work with the Corps to obtain this additional right-of-way.
Questions or comments? Vote.
Vote on motion 18-390. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 18-391, in the matter of accepting improvements within the project known as Railroad Improvements for Four Winds Drive and Summit Drive, Section 2 North, 3Bs and K, culvert replacement and releasing construction security.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion?
The roadway and storm sewer improvements for the Four Winds Drive and Summit Drive construction were completed. Our staff has reviewed, inspected that work, and recommending placing that on the 1-year developer maintenance period and refunding the construction bond.
Questions or comments? Vote.
Vote on motion 18-391. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Resolution number 18-392, in the matter of approving supplemental appropriations for the Sunbury Road improvements.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion?
This is a supplemental. It does not involve any additional county funds. Rather, this is an appropriation to allow for the posting of payments made by ODOT on our behalf to the contractor, which we had anticipated last year, but those payments I don't believe were made until this year, so was not reflected in our budget. And so this would allow the auditor's office to post those payments to the project account.
Questions or comments? Vote.
Vote on motion 18-392. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Thank you.
I
Thanks,
just
Ron.
have one quick question. Speaking around the corner from Sunbury Road, Red Bank there.
Yes.
How is, they have knocked down a lot of trees, cut down a lot of trees, and then moving utilities, that's what's going on right now?
Yes, I got an update from the Franklin County engineer last week. Utility work will be underway between now and probably July, so you'll see work happening out there for the next several months. And then the road work will start in July. The contractor, I believe, is under a 60-day completion requirement, and then there's an incentive provided for early completion up to 15 additional days. I don't remember the amount per day, but obviously that's a busy road that there's no good way around it, because the next road to the north is Sunbury Road, and that's several miles away, and Central College Road to the south. So we certainly want the contractor. And I believe the bid's open this week, so we don't yet know who the contractor will be. But again, Franklin County is handling all of that.
And the big electrical poles, they'll have to be moved, then do they just put those underground, do you know? Or-
I don't believe they'll put them underground. I think they'll just move
Just move
them
them.
out.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay. I believe that brings us to administrative reports.
I have nothing to report today.
Commissioner reports. Commissioner Benton?
Really not a whole lot. We did do the Career Center fire training area visit on Friday, and that was very interesting. There's a lot of structures there for a lot of different types of training in fire-related activities, so it was very interesting. You know, we'll see as it goes forward just what happens with those facilities as they relocate to their south campus when it's finished and so on. But anyway, again, it was interesting. So that's all I got.
Commissioner Lewis?
I don't have anything.
And just concur with Commissioner Benton, it was an interesting tour. I had no idea that was there until we actually went back in there, and so there'll be more discussion down the road, and I think the key is that we're taking an honest look at the whole issue to make sure that the right thing is done, whatever that is, and that'll be determined over the next few months as the Career Center talks to and works with the fire chiefs. With that, I do believe we have need for executive session.
We do. Resolution number 18-393, in the matter of adjourning into executive session for consideration of employment compensation to consider the purchase of property for public purpose and for collective bargaining.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 18-393. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
With that, we are now in executive session.
Okay.
Resolution number 18-394, in the matter of adjourning out of executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 18-394. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye. With that, we are in recess until 1:30, where we will meet at the drainage improvement petition for the Rooter number 86 and Toot number 88 watersheds. Vicinity is approximately 2560 Clarkshaw Road. We're now in recess. Okay? Let me get these for you.
Gee.